Hello everyone, welcome to today's tutorial of IBM Modeler. I'm going to tell you how to use select node to select and discard a subset of a dataset. So I'm having here the unclean bank data dataset you will be using for assignment 2. And taking a look at this dataset, you notice that there are a few records that have more than 2 missing values. Yes, and okay, so the question is, how do we locate these records, and how do we remove it, how do we delete it from our data set, because they have too many missing values, so it's impossible to conduct data imputation for these records. Okay, so to do so, we will use select node. You go to record operations section and you double click on select to add it to your stream. And in select node, you have to define a condition. You have to write formula to tell modeler which records you want to include or discard. So in this case, we want to remove them from our data set. So we select discard and you click on the small icon on the top right to open the expression builder. So in the expression builder, Modeler provides a wide variety of functions to help you build your formula. And basically these functions are very much similar to Excel functions, and they are organized in groups like operators functions, numeric functions, probability function. So to count the number of null value for a record, we will use the count null function. So you choose the count null function is under the comparison function group, and if you click on the count nulls function, you will see a simple instruction on how to use this function. So this function, the input of this function is a list of columns, and it will return a integer, the number of null values from a list of columns. Okay, so you double click on count null function to add it to your expression editor. And one thing to pay attention to here is to identify the input of this function is a list. You have to input a square bracket, and to add field into this function, you see this is a list of fields in our data set, and you just need to double click on each field to add it to our function. Okay, and we need to add a blank space between each column. So I just added 3 columns: age, income, and children. Okay, so another important point is the measurement type of the columns here must be the same. They must be real number, or they must be string. Okay. So that's for counting null values in real number columns. And to do the same for string column, we will use count equal function. Okay. So for count equal function, it takes 2 inputs, item 1 and list. So item 1 is a value, and list is a list of columns. So this function will compare the each value in this list with the value of item 1, and it returns a number of values from a list of fields that are equal to item 1. Okay, so for string value, we will compare it to a blank value. So item 1 is double quote, 2 double quote, and a list of values. So because it's a list, we need to put a square bracket here, and we input all the remaining string columns. Sorry. Okay, and for example, we put it here greater or equal to 2. So basically, this function will locate any records that have more than 2 null value in any of these columns and exclude those records from our dataset. So before saving the formula, remember to click check to check for the syntax of our formula. So our formula is fine. We need OK, and we click OK. So we are good. Okay, so now let's check if Modeler actually removes some invalid records for you based on the formula you just defined. I will use data audit note. I have one attached to select node and another one attached to type node before we conduct the removing operator. So as you can see here, this is a number of records before we conduct select task, and the total number of records is 600 records. And after we exclude some records that have more than 2 null values, the number drops by 4 here. So another question, what if users want to see which records were excluded? Okay, to do so, you use table node under output section. Double click on table node, and you attach table node to type node here before the select node, and basically you just need to copy the formula you already defined select node and paste it to table node, and Modeler will highlight any records that meet this condition. You click on run, yeah, as you can see here, this record has more than 2 null value, actually 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, another one, 1 2 3 4 5 no values. So how many records do we have here? Let me see. 1 record, 2, 3. It should be 4. Yeah, here 4. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Yeah, 7 no values in this record. So that's how to use select node to remove invalid records from your dataset. And also you can use table node the same way as you use select node to audit your data, to see to locate invalid records in your dataset. So thank you for listening.